ash. Today on In the Woodyard, we've got two big bad saws. We've got the STIHL 661, which is yours. Well, it's a friend of yours, right?
This is Quentin's, my partner's.
Yep. Oh, okay. And then you've got the 592 Husqvarna.
Yep.
Similar size saws. They're both sharp. We just sharpened them. And we've got a big piece of ash here that we're going to whittle on. Does that sound like fun?
I can't wait.
Let's get cutting. So today, Mr. Indiana is here. You drove how many hours to get here?
About 5 hours.
5 hours from Indiana because you're a chainsaw firewood crazy person like me.
I love firewood.
So for those of you that don't know, he's going to be on a whole bunch of videos we're going to be doing here. And you have a channel. It is called the 765 Guys.
Yes, sir.
You and your partner is Quentin, right?
Yep.
And this is Jinnin, and they like saws, and they have some big ones. So you were telling me this 592 here is your second 592.
Yes, I got my first 592 last July of 22, and in probably March of 23, the recoil broke on it, and Husqvarna, they said they had 300 of them on back order. It's a really common problem, I guess. And they had no timetable for when it would be in. So my dealership, which was pretty good, they talked to their rep, they got me a new saw.
Nice, nice.
Yep.
And then how long have you had the 661?
Quentin bought this probably last September, and no issues.
Nothing.
Nope.
It's because it's a steel, it just works.
Yeah, it just works. I got that one, and he decided he needed one, and we were like, we're not buying two Husqvarnas. Even though we're naturally Husqvarna guys, we need something different to compare and try. So
well, they're both great
there's
saws.
nothing wrong with that saw. That saw's awesome.
And in your experience so far, what's the difference? Speed-wise, cutting-wise?
I don't think there's any. If there's any power difference, I'd give that one a slight edge. As far as user functionability, I think this one is a little bit better. The elastic start on the steel is unmatched, I think.
Yeah.
There's just a little differences here and there. The air filter on this is way better. This one gets dirty extremely easy. It's easy to clean.
Right.
But it gets plugged. Like
that's the one big difference between the two. You hear from everybody is the STIHL's air filtration is not nearly as good as Husqvarna.
Correct.
I like the caps better on these than those as far as not leaking, but those are nice. I mean, they work.
They're quick, but they do leak eventually.
And the recoil is a really nice one compared to this, I guess. I think from my experience, a little bit I cut with the two saws, and I have cut with both of them. This to me seems a little quicker, but that to me seems to have a little more low end torque. That's what I found. It doesn't bog down. This one, if I really reef on it, I can bog it down, whereas that one just keeps chugging, but I don't think it's quite as fast. But I don't know.
I think just being spec wise, this one is rated at 7.6 horsepower and this one at 7.2. So not enough to know the difference, but it probably makes power at different RPMs, and that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, could be. But it doesn't matter. It's like a Ford Chevy debate. No. It doesn't matter. What matters, like we were just talking before we started here, our favorite saw is the one in my hands that's running really good and is sharp. That is all that matters. If it's sharp, that's a good thing.
If this has a dull chain, I'd rather be using a 50cc that's really sharp than a dull chain.
Yeah, but I have found the bigger you go, you can still cut with a dull chain.
Oh yeah, just push harder.
Just push harder. It'll take it. But I still would. My way of thinking is if it's starting to get dull or if it just feels a little dull, stop and sharpen it.
Yep.
Because why put the strain on the saw? Why put the strain on yourself? You're going to be faster if you just quick touch it up and get back to cutting. And if you got to do it every tank or every other tank, that's what you do. And if you're dealing with wood, especially in the summertime, if it's been drug out across gravel and dirt, you're gonna get problems faster versus winter cut wood that's coming out where it's been skidded out on snow or frozen conditions. It's gonna be cleaner wood. So, but we're gonna do some cutting of some cookies here. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna start them up and make some noise and some sawdust.
Ooh boy, can't wait. Cuts good.
I like it. All right, let's try this one. I don't know. They both cut. They both cut. They both cut really nice. And that's dry ash. That's hard cutting wood. People think, oh, ash, but ash, when it gets dry, cuts hard. Nice. I think I gotta do that again.
Do it again.
I'm gonna use the still this time. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It feels like this might be cutting a little faster, but it might be a little sharper. Maybe. I don't know. Could be the rakers, maybe. They're both so nice.
I want to stop and say real quick, did you notice when I was cutting that my clutch cover never got plugged up with chips here or here? West Coast cover.
Yeah.
They're cut way bigger, like they flow more.
Yeah.
Because usually I'd have them all stuck right here.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom, I'd have to pull them all out too.
Right. Yeah.
Noodled it, never got plugged one time.
That's is nice.
First time I've used it in that scenario.
Yeah.
But I've heard that's what they do.
was hoping for it to run out of gas.
I was kind of hoping the same thing.
Okay, so we are two boys with toys, and these are very nice boy toys. They both work fantastic. They both cut excellent. You would not go wrong either way.
No.
They just are really nice saws. And I always say that if I had to pick one saw and one saw only, I'd pick a 70cc saw, and these are 90s. And the only reason I would pick a 70 over a 90 is that if you cut all day long, these get really heavy.
Yeah, the 70s definitely,
they're heavy.
Walk with it. This, yeah. I don't want to, it doesn't leave the wood yard like.
Yeah, and if you got to reach to make a cut, yeah, or go a little bit higher than you should cut, they're heavy.
Yeah.
But if you want to cut fast,
or if you're going to cut
this is what you
big
want.
Wood,
well, you just cut fast. Yeah, they're just awesome. If you're cutting in a log pile where you're just standing and cutting, this is awesome. When I'm cutting all day long, if I'm going to cut in a log pile, if I'm cutting stuff that I don't want to run the processor, if I got a lot of snakes or oversized stuff, I start with my 592 first. Mm-hmm. Because I'm fresh. Because if I start with a 572 and then go to another 572, another 572, and then go to the 592, it's like, oh man, this thing's heavy. But if I go the opposite, it's like, oh, that 572, it's like nothing. It's like a feather. We noticed that when I was cutting with my brother, we went from his 395 and then my 592. Then we went to the 372 and the 572, and then he picked up his 562, and it's like a toy.
Yeah.
And you can cut almost as fast, but it's not as fast.
Yeah, the 60s I think is definitely a big jump to go to 70.
Yeah, and the 70 will do pretty much everything. That's what I like about a 70cc saw, and you can cut pretty fast.
I had a 562 for a few months.
And you just didn't like it?
Once you have a couple 70s, that's...
Yeah. But it's a nice, you're young yet, he's not even 30, so when you get old like me, when you're over 60, it's nice to have a lighter saw, because my shoulders are starting to hurt some days. Mm-hmm. I get down, it's like, oh, what did I do? Oh, I cut wood all day. So yeah, it's nice to have a lighter saw. And then if you're doing limbing and stuff like that, it's nice to have a smaller saw. Now,
yes,
the big differences between these is you've got a West Coast Saws bark box on here, whereas this is the one that it came with.
Yeah,
but the one this comes with is pretty good.
It flows.
Yeah.
It flows, it's loud.
Yeah. Yeah, you really don't need to change it.
No, whenever I did my video on these two, I got a lot of comments and said it wasn't fair because this one had a bark box. West Coast Saw says it's up to a 5% gain with a bark box. Yeah. And even if you put this 5% above 7.6 horsepower, it's like, or 7.2, it's like 7.3, 7.4. Yeah, it's not that much of a difference.
Right. And you added the West Coast dogs on here,
yes,
and that's standard dogs,
yes,
which are very similar.
Oh yeah, neither one of them needed dogs. My buddy got me those dogs for it, so I put them on. But 90s come with great dogs.
Right, and that's the big difference, I think, between the STIHLs that I like better. Their dogs are better overall on all their saws, whereas the Huskies to me are a little wimpy. Yeah. The ones on the 90, on the 592, and the 395 are more aggressive and they're nice. And it's a double set, whereas most of the saws only come with one set, only one side. So I do think STIHL wins on the dogs. That's one thing. The other thing a lot of people talk about is the new Husqvarna light bars. They're actually made, is it Sugihara, is that how you say it? I think
so, yes.
But STIHL makes their own. And everybody says the STIHL bars are absolutely awesome. Yep. So I think that might be the winner. Weight-wise, I don't know the difference. They both work fine. But I do like the light bar and the bigger saw.
I think it balances it.
Yeah, because it's got real good balance. You pick it up and it's just even, and I like that a lot. The next thing that I like to talk about is the air cleaner. These do have, the Husqvarnas do have better air cleaners. They clean the air better. Is that going to have stuff on it? Oh yeah, it's already got stuff on it. Yeah, not bad, but if you cut a tank with this, it's going to be pretty dirty. Oh, see, I go a lot of times 4 or 5 tanks before I empty this and not much comes out. But yeah, that's one thing that you got to worry about. The next thing is going to be the caps. I like the caps where you screw them in. These are just a quarter turn cap, whereas these here, it's more of a, what is it? You got a one, it's almost 2 full turns. At least that's what it seems like.
And that one could go, that's just personal preference, whether you just like to flip and turn.
Yep.
It might leak. They do just have O-rings, so this O-ring is dirty. So if it leaks, I'm not surprised. Because there's dirt on it. It's not going to seal out perfect if there's dirt on it.
Chainsaw's a dirty machine, yes. It's just the way it is. The next thing that I really like way better on the Husqvarnas than the STIHL is that when you go to turn it off, your natural reaction is to push it down. Whereas in the stills, you got to go up.
Yep.
It's just, maybe because I'm really used to the Husqvarnas, it's just the opposite. But it seems harder to flip it up than it does to flip it down.
I would agree.
So there's that. I like the fact that you can prime this, whereas that one you can't prime.
It's really frustrating.
Yeah.
You say you don't need it, but just naturally using chainsaws and small equipment forever, I prime stuff.
Right. And the thing is if you run it dry, you need to prime it.
Yeah, you do.
So and so that's one of the little things there. Triggers real similar, response very similar. This might be just a little quicker, but they cut so similar. It doesn't matter.
I think it all comes down to just like any product. Who's your dealer? Are they going to support you?
Right.
And that's the most important thing when you buy something.
Right. And they're both good. And it's nice that there's two that you can choose from. Yep. And it's unfortunate there's not a third company that's competitive.
I wish there was.
Yeah, like if Echo would get into the professional stuff, because some of their small stuff. I've got an Echo trimmer, and I've run some of Tony's little chainsaws, the top handles, and I think Bert or Adam have a little Echo. They're really nice.
Yeah, and they're priced well.
Yeah, and they're more of a consumer-based type saw, but they cut really good, and I like them, and they make good stuff.
Yep.
So it'd be nice if there was another third player in the game, but they're so nice. It really doesn't matter. But if I had to pick one, I would just feel the chain, whichever one has the sharpest chain, and start it is the one I cut with. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I agree.
They're both just excellent.
One thing I do really like about this 592 is the gas tank is clear.
Oh yeah, you can see your gas.
You can easily see your fuel tank. The fuel or the steel, they say this is a see-through,
but you really can't see.
I can see a little bit of it bouncing there, but most generally no, you cannot see.
Yeah,
I really like that.
And I think this is better than any of the other Husqvarna see-throughs too. Yeah. Because some of my 590, really 572s, you wiggle it and you don't see much, but this has got a bigger tank. So that's one of the drawbacks with both of these. They're thirsty girls.
Oh, they are.
They drink and they take more fuel, but you got to realize
you're saving a ton of time.
You're saving time. And I'd rather burn more gas than time, because I can buy more gas. I can't buy more time. Yep. And that's why a lot of people say, "Oh, you don't need that big of a saw," especially people from Europe. Not anything against the Europe people. They're like, "You guys will run those big saws with the big bars," and I'm like, no, but I know most of the professional loggers in Europe, they're using 18-inch bars on like a 50 or 60 cc saw, and that's all they use. But they're cutting mostly softwood, and they're cutting trees that have been extremely farmed. I mean, they're forest crop land big time, that where they're cutting the trees at the optimal time. They're cutting the same size trees almost all the time. Here we've got everything. And like a lot of guys on the West Coast have big long bars. That's fine if that's what you need. I really don't like running a real big bar. I like a 25 about the best overall. 20 to me is a little small.
I'm not reach. My back hurts.
Yeah, that's the thing I noticed right away when I went to a 20, 24, 25-inch bars. I wasn't bending over as much and my back didn't hurt as much. But that's a whole nother topic. Yep. But they're both very nice saws. It doesn't matter. Whichever one you get, you're going to be happy with. Go to a dealer that's got them in stock, that's a good dealer, that has good service.
Whenever I had my problems with this, if my dealer would have told me to beat it, then I wouldn't have bought another one of those. Right. I would have just ordered one of these. Right. But I'm glad they took care of it.
Yeah, my dealer, I go to Modern Rental in Ripon. They're one of the biggest in the state, and they're really good about stuff too. They fix stuff for me, and sometimes they haven't charged me for little things, like, because I buy saws there all the time. I think I bought my last 5 saws there. Yeah. So, and that's the other thing too, is, you know, if you're going to buy a saw for the first time, talk to people that have gone to that dealer, maybe go with them so that they see a familiar face and say, I buy my saws here and there's a friend of mine. Get that whole relationship built up through someone else. It's a good way to do it, because that way you're going to get better service, especially if it's someone that's been there and bought a lot of equipment from, and they're like, oh, this guy, he's bringing us people. Oh yeah. That's what they want. Yep. So do that. So there you go. There's the review. Thumbs up on both of them. Just get one.
Just get one. You'll love it. There won't be any regret.
And the other thing we didn't mention, they hold their value pretty dang good. I mean, you're not going to get 100% of your money back, but if you don't beat the snot out of it, you can resell them and get...
That's true. I see a lot of old steel 066s and stuff, and people are still selling them for $700.
Yeah, if it's not beat up and it's not been, you know, used and abused, you can still get pretty good money for them. So if you're trying to talk someone into letting you buy it...
Just tell them you'll be inside earlier every night. Like, exactly. Yeah, I can spend more money on this, and I'll be inside an hour more every night because I'm not out cutting.
Awesome. So there you go. That's it for today, folks. Tomorrow I'll be back 5:30 a.m. with another video with this guy here, Mr. 765 guy. That's the channel.
Yeah, you've watched it.
Yeah, all the time.
Not really.
So what do you think of cutting with these saws here? Is that
It's really the best job I've ever had.
I kind of thought you were going to say that. I thought you would say that. What else do you got to say?
Good night, Irene. We'll see you next time.